How many times did you fail to get to this stage right now?
FOMO/greed kicked in, lost the account.
Technicals is not the answer.
One of them resulted to be a scam.
That's such a deep topic to tell someone.
There's a lot of jealousy. People don't want you to succeed.
This is why we'll never change our message.
You don't go from point A to B on a straight line.
Because you trust in the process that you're learning in the right way.
It's been one of the best journeys of my life.
To gain experience in the market. Grateful to be in this position.
9 trades back to back gone, and then that shattered my confidence completely.
You really want to believe something.
There's been some highs, there's been some lows.
I wasn't good at maths, I failed it at college.
I wanted to be a full-time trader by the end of the year.
This is actually possible.
Trading.
All of that euphoric feeling.
You can't stop my trading.
It's just made me a much better trader overall.
Welcome back to another Inside the Mind podcast.
What's going on, guys and girls? Welcome back to another Funded Trader podcast. Joined with me, a very special guest who has also passed on our in-house fund. He's now a portfolio asset manager. Pleasure for you guys and girls to meet Francisco. Welcome.
Hi, Mark. Pleasure being here. Thank you very much.
Great to see you again. Looking sharp.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, before we get into your journey, before we get into all of the formalities, I'd rather start off with something a bit more direct. You're now a portfolio asset manager. How many times did you fail to get to this stage right now?
5.
5?
Yes.
And how did that feel?
It hurt, but now looking back, I'm actually grateful that I had to go through that challenge. That was my journey. My journey might be slightly different to other people. Not everybody passes on the first time. So I started with the first challenge last year, I think around beginning of the year, March time, and it was all going well. I was just a few trades away from passing the challenge, and then just FOMO/greed kicked in, and I over-risked, lost the account. But I never gave myself enough time to take a step back, think about the mistakes, especially my psychology. I was always... A few days later, let's go again. I got it sorted out. I know exactly where I have to improve, but it wasn't the case. So it was one after the other, until I said, okay, enough. I took some time off, a few months, to work on my psychology, digging into Rewired, did all the exercises multiple times, and then I said to myself, okay, time to go again. But I also put some pressure on me to make sure that would be the last time. More also out of respect for myself, but for yourself, because I know that you don't want to have people failing multiple times, 10, 15 times, and not doing the necessary work to make sure that they improve, they know where they're a mistake, and to make sure that they come back stronger. So that's why, to me, I had a little bit of pressure this time, because I wanted to make sure that I prove myself right, but I also to the community. Seeing so many people passing lately, I think last year we didn't have the amount of people passing as this year, 2023, is insane. Every week we have, you're quite a busy person, and on top of that, you have to be doing a few podcasts every week. So yeah, it's not, you don't go from point A to B on a straight line. If people think what trading is, you go through your own battles, you will have demons inside. But the main point, it was psychology, working on that. The technicals, at some point, we'll get that. There is always room for improvement. But we cannot disregard the fact that we have to work in our emotions, mindset, how we see the market. And we have everything within Falcon, to be honest. I think we are way above the industry standard in terms of resources, knowledge, accessibility to people like yourself, Abdu, EB, the coaches. So, yeah.
Well, you're here now, so congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
How did that feel, firstly, with people congratulating you in this type of environment? Because even then, that's not a day-to-day. It's not normal to have hundreds and hundreds of people say congratulations, but actually mean it.
Yes. So I kept receiving messages probably 3 or 4 days later, which doesn't happen, from a work environment. There's a lot of jealousy. People don't want you to succeed. I only share some of my personal goals with certain people within my work environment, people that are above me in terms of career. and financially speaking, because I know that they will understand my journey and my goals. But if you try to share this with your work colleagues, they're not gonna get it. They're gonna think that you're crazy, that you're wasting your time. So it felt normal. Part of me was, okay, I made it. I knew that this would happen. I just had to persist long enough to succeed. And the other part of me was, okay, wow, this is happening. I've done it. But there's no time to rest. I cannot just say, okay, I've done it, relax. No, now I think we have to go even harder. A lot of goals to achieve, a lot of goals to tick. We all want to be in Dubai by the end of this year.
100%.
But we also have to be conscious and make sure that we know exactly what we're doing. We don't overtrade. The excitement is there. So again, you have to control those emotions. But yeah, I think the journey looks bright.
Yeah, well, congrats for making it through that. It would be easy for the more you fail, sometimes that can be a dampening on your confidence. You know, third assessment, fourth assessment, and you're scratching your head thinking, well, am I going to do this time? And you spoke about that extra pressure, which seemed to work for you well this time. Was there anything that changed? Let's say you said you went into like, right, enough is enough. I need to do the work on the psychology. Was there something specific that, let's say, was it a module, for example, that you went through Rewired that stuck out to you more than the other ones?
The self-image.
Interesting.
I think that's the one that majority of people talk about. Again, it's just how we grow up, the type of society where we live in, social media, everything nowadays is you have to match certain appearance, you have to look certain way, you have to talk certain way. And self-image, generally speaking, I'm a confident person, so I never had any issues regarding self-esteem, but I'm also human, so I have my flaws, I have days where I feel down, but I also very disciplined person. I've always been in sports. My father, he was an athlete, so I grew up in that environment where discipline, I learned discipline from a very young age, which I can translate that into my work environment, into trading. So it's always doing the things that you don't like to do, you don't enjoy doing it, but you know that it has to be done. And yes, it's the extra pressure. Yes, it was there, because I think we all resonate with everything that you're teaching us, but also we want to make sure that we make you proud. So that's when I said earlier that part of me was I need to make sure that after a few more failures, you say, Francisco, sorry, you cannot reapply again because you failed so many times. So I had to make sure that, okay, I come back stronger. And yeah, the module was self-image, work on that, dig in, making the exercises, rereading them before going to bed. And it worked.
Amazing.
But it's an everyday task.
Yes.
Every day.
Yeah,
no days off.
You can't just change your self-image.
Yeah.
You said you never really had issues with self-esteem. When it comes to the image part, what was the key thing that you think that you worked on more? Was it more about what you wanted to be, of the image of how you really see yourself as, if I'm going to be a six-figure trader, how does this six-figure trader behave?
Exactly.
What do they do? Was it more that kind of point? Yeah.
Exactly that. So it was mainly, I knew the person that I wanted to become, but it was closing that gap, that bridge between who I am now and the person that I want to be. Making sure that I already live as if I already achieve some of the goals, but I also the person that I want to become, that I'm living by those values, those principles. So was incorporating this into my day-to-day life. A person that the main key for me was two things. One was, if I would go back in time 10, 15 years, 20 years ago and ask the young Francisco back then, are you proud of the Francisco that he has become now? And maybe the answer was no. Maybe the answer was yes, but there's always room for improvement. So the aim was, okay, I want to make sure that there are no regrets, that I'm happy with what I've done so far. and also for other people to look up at some point to me and say, you know what, I resonate with his journey. And we also have a WhatsApp group with some of the Falcon students, so which keeps growing every day. We just keep adding people from multiple countries, and it's pushing us to, I wouldn't say to the limits, but it's a good pressure that we have. It's making each other accountable, especially now with the monk mode that started today. We know all of us are very excited. So it's
we have an
sure
ice bath prepared for you. Just
no
you
problem.
Can't see.
I have my speedo on, so ready to go.
Good man.
So yeah, I think that we have no excuses. We have everything in our plate to be successful. From the community that we are part of, having someone like yourself that has 15 years plus experience, having the coaches, and I know that a lot of us, including myself, we just have tunnel vision, where we don't try to focus on what's happening out there, what our other communities doing. It's very easy to fall into that trap. You have a lot of false expectations, false information, a lot of scams around. And I didn't join Falcon. Falcon was not my first place, my first community. I had to go through 2 other places before. One of them, I'm not going to give the name, but resulted to be a scam. Was I upset? Yeah, of course, because I lost money. I invested money, but it's part of my journey. I know some people join Falcon for the first time, and that was their experience. But at least I can compare what we have now to what I used to have before. And no doubt, I think we have the best community worldwide. 100%.
I'm biased, but I believe it. I fully do.
You should be proud of what you have achieved, what you're building. To be honest, you don't see that very often, the level of commitment that you have. Everybody's so professional. So whoever is doubting to join Falcon, just do it. Not sure whether there's a camera. So if you're watching this podcast, don't think twice, join Falcon. Best decision ever.
No, I appreciate it, and I can sense that because you've seen it, some people have not seen the other side. You've experienced something where no one cares. No one cares whether you succeed.
You're just a number.
And I guess you've now had that. Do you feel that sense of security knowing that you're in the right place, that you can achieve the goals that you want to achieve?
Yeah, especially with the fund. You have a lot of prop firms out there that might give you a better split when it comes to the profit. And some people might focus on that, but they disregard one of the main aspects that we have 12 months to pass. There is no pressure. With the other prop firms, you have a month to achieve certain goal. Then you have to go through phase 2. And if you lose the account, they don't know who you are. You just become a number. There is no relationship. There is no rapport. So you have to start all over again. And you've mentioned multiple times, if you're trading £250,000, £400,000, and for whatever reason you have a few bad trades, you're not going to start from zero all over again, because you know the person. You might have done a podcast, you might have seen this person during these meetups, so you know that the person is legit, maybe had some bad luck, and that's the confidence that we have in you. And more than confidence, peace of mind, that we know that we are in the right place.
I'm glad it gives you the peace of mind as well, because that's exactly what I wanted to bring to this industry. And prop firms are trying to take a bit of a U-turn. They've gone from smaller time frames, now they're trying to make it wider time frames, because they know they couldn't keep up for long enough, where people would get paid out and they lose their account 30 days later. All of them, like overwhelming stats. It's disgusting.
We've seen the stats from my Forex fund.
Yeah, Abdu's done an incredible video on that, breaking down those stats.
Exactly.
It just goes to show you
it's
that
disgusting.
All of them have a bad strategy. How convenient. I think it's psychology.
And you know that we are within that probably 1 or 5% bracket, that majority of the students who pass the fund, they remain funded.
Yes.
We are already one step ahead of the competition, of the industry standards.
This is why we'll never change our message for the sake of excitement or trying to lure people into a false idea of what trading is. You got to think about it like this. For me to tell someone, Francisco, that in order for you to get to the next stage, the issue may be your image. That's such a deep topic to tell someone, rather than saying, I've just tweaked the strategy, you can make more money.
Yeah.
I could make the strategy look better than it is. I'm not saying it's bad, right? The strategy is phenomenal, but I could make it sound better than it is, because technicals is not the answer. Technicals is one part. If you have an edge, which we have a phenomenal edge, every strategy will have drawdown, every strategy will have slow periods, fast periods. But as long as you've got a really good edge, it's systemized as much as possible, and then you have an element of experience that goes into that, then you're fine. But the other side is the mindset. Because imagine someone who is just a wizard at learning things. They're phenomenal at learning things. They come into Falcon, and in 6 months, they know everything. There isn't a thing they don't know. If I was to say, how would you approach this scenario? They know everything because they're just very smart. But they're anxious, nervous, come from a poor background, don't believe in themselves. What's the chances that even if they make money, even if they make $5,000 on a funded assessment, they'll just give it back?
Exactly.
They're just, this doesn't belong to me. Like, I don't feel worthy.
Exactly.
And the deeper issues that stop traders getting to like a big amount of scale, where they feel like this is exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, I am a 6-figure trader. Yeah. I am a 7-figure trader. And you behave like a professional. You have things in place to mitigate risk. You're not just scaling up your lifestyle. As soon as you make a bit of money, I need to move out. You know, these are life skills that people don't teach us. So it's not, people have got to look at it from the perspective of, it's not easy for me to give that answer. Therefore, if I'm giving the difficult answer that requires more work, there's probably a lot more truth in that, where I could just make it really easy and fancy.
Yeah. But people don't want to hear the truth. People don't want to work on themselves. People don't want to look at themselves in the mirror and say, I am the problem. It's not the market. It's not this strategy. It's not Falcon. It's me. And we see this on a daily basis, people jumping from community to community trying to find the holy grail. No, I think the smart money concept or this and that, okay, yeah, this might work for some people, but you see a lot of people coming back to Falcon now, because I think they realize, right, okay, I had the best of the best. I just didn't put the work, I just didn't believe enough, I just didn't persist until I would succeed. And this is what you see now, that personally I don't see a lot of some of the people that I speak to from the community were here for the long term. Mm-hmm. That's it. There is no looking back or looking to the right, left, who's doing what. No, we know where we're going. The community is growing every day. We have big goals for us, for yourself, and that's enough for us. And again, I think it's a peace of mind.
It is that peace of mind, and it's that focus of, we know where we're going. We've got 5, 10, 15-year roadmap. So when we speak about goals, it feels so early stages. Even when we're talking about Dubai expansion, end of year, virtual trading floor, we're still early stages. Yeah. I'm not surprised. You said about 2023, suddenly it's just like, loads of funded students. It didn't happen overnight. And that's the effect of, that's why you're seeing so many people come back, is because they realized, right? And it's not to point fingers of them. I understand this is important to them. They want to do well. And in their head, they can justify anything. I've not made any money yet, so I've seen this concept over here. I'll try this. I'll try that. Your problems will follow you wherever you go. So you don't deal with yourself.
Exactly.
But what the industry does is, time is a beautiful thing. The reason why we've been able to get so much benefit lately is because 6.5 years, people, like, you can't escape time. It exposes all. And when you look at the decisions that we made like 3 years ago that have come to benefit the students now, people couldn't see it. They couldn't see it at the time because all they could think about was their next step of, but this is where I want to be. I hate my job. I saw this person make some money. Maybe I should try that. Yeah. They couldn't see past that. But just how the prop firms are doing a U-turn, the same way people with really tight stop losses are doing a U-turn. Before it was just the smallest stop loss. Now the message has changed again. You don't need to focus on returns. That just is so hilarious. Like the people that were pushing big returns are now telling people not to focus on returns. And the people that were telling people to go as tight a stop as possible are now getting wider stop losses. Why is that? It's because you can only entertain something that is high risk for a short period of time until you get demoralized from it. And that's exactly what's happened. And then they come back and go, do you know what? Because I've had these messages, as you can imagine. And it's not that these systems can't work. It's just, what do you think comes with the territory of having the tightest stop loss when you've got more money? Let's say out of pure sequence, you get a funded account and you get another verification, you get another account, you're sitting there with 400K. Now you've got the decent amount of capital, you've now got to risk that capital. But the way you used to risk the money on the smaller amount, you was comfortable doing that because, yeah, small amount of money doesn't really affect me too much. Now you know this 400K could change my life. I could quit my job. So then you start altering the way that you trade. Why is that? So you intuitively already knew that you can't do it on more than a small amount of money. So why do it in the first place? Like, you're building the good habits now. You're scaling up and thinking about your future. Moving on to that, what does the next stage look like for you? You've just got to the next stage. You're at the portfolio asset manager. End of the year, is there any numbers or figures you got in your mind that you would like to achieve?
So number one, obviously, to continue to scale up with Falcon Fund. That's a no-brainer. Figure that I have in mind, again, I don't want to put any timelines because we know that if you don't achieve them on time, you put extra pressure. But I would say a good number to start with, it would be 100K. I'm trying to get private investor capital as well. I think ultimately the goal is also to have your own capital. So I don't have any timelines. I don't want to put that. I used to do that before, and when you wouldn't achieve that on time, you will criticize yourself. You will start feeling a little bit depressed, or you would have those negative talks or thoughts coming to your head. So I will be comfortable between 100 and 200K. Will I achieve this by the end of the year? That remains to be seen. Private investor capital, I'm in negotiations with someone now, halfway through, so we'll see if that goes ahead. But regardless, the fund is a priority. And just touch a little bit on the subject of what you just mentioned before, I think, we all have to have the concept of delay gratification. In my journey, I had to fail 5 times to be here now. I could have done this podcast 12 months ago, but I didn't. So it's just to make sure that there's no rush. Slow is fast. As we spoke before, I was trying to go fast, but it slowed me down. And I shift the coin, and now I went slow in order to be here. And I will continue to do that. I think it's a daily habit that we've all built up. There's always room for improvement, especially with the monk month. I think we are just pushing ourselves out of the comfort zone. And I think the sky is the limit. So I think you're going to see a lot of people in Dubai by the end of this year.
Oh, sure. We're going to be very close to the sky when we do the Aurora Sky Pool. But it's going to be a great feeling, 6.5 it'll be nearly 7 years at that point of work and growth. 7 years is a long part of my life. Right, of commitment to every single day of things that I've sacrificed that people don't see. Right. They might think, but you're doing it because it's your project. But they don't understand the times where it's very inconvenient that I could outsource certain things that I don't. So that's the part they don't see, the level of sacrifice of that. But I see the bigger vision, I see the bigger picture, and I care about this. When I first started, I remember having the thought, I was like, if I'm going to do this, because I'm an introvert at preference, I'm going to trade by myself. Had my investment already. I had no need to start anything else.
You don't have to trade anyway.
I'd literally just sit on my laptop and just relax and just carry on scaling up how I was, and I'd have been fine. And I was doing it anyway because I didn't really want to be in any groups, truthfully, because I was an introvert. Not that I was shy, but if I were to make a choice, I wouldn't be someone who's out there all the time telling people how much money I'm making. I just keep myself low key, build up, and I was always like that. But I sat there and thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to make it the best it could possibly be. I can't half-ass anything. I didn't half-ass my trading. I didn't invest all of that money and all of that time to not make money for 4 to 5 years until I actually started to make money, to then average, create some webinars and just be no, it had to be, it's either going to be a massive project where everything is connected, like Rewired, everything is connected to everything else. It's how we do everything in the team. And now I'm so grateful. I've got incredible coaches. Ibi and Abdu are so committed. I mean, you see the level of commitment.
Yeah.
They get it.
100%.
They want people to succeed. Yeah. The conversations that me, Ibi and Abdu have, and the team as well, about so many students that people wouldn't see, as that we're genuinely happy for people when they break through, and we're like finally they've gone through to that next level, because we've seen how much frustration and pain, and even
and
for
that
yourself.
Doesn't happen in a work environment. You get a promotion, you get a better salary, they move you places, people are fakely clapping for you.
Yes.
And you can sense that. Here is all genuine. Everybody, I want all the students to be trading 6-7 figures. It doesn't affect me, it makes me happy. The same way that I know that they will be happy if that happens to me. We're just here, pushing each other, supporting each other. And that's a type of environment that nowadays, 21st century, you don't see it very often.
No.
You don't see.
No, not in this space either.
No.
You would actually think it's more rarer in this industry. And I've seen people try to copy it, but you can't copy something that's original. Like I know there's not another me, right, in this type of space. So just from that, it is what it is. When you've got money involved, you're going to attract all kinds of people. So exactly. I get what comes with the territory, but that was kind of, call it part of the mission of wanting to make change, even within that thought of, I know there won't be a type of person like me that would do that. So how about I do it? Yeah. It's something I could look back on in years and years to come and go, would this make me happy? Would I be proud of myself? And would my family be proud of me that I've given good service to the world? Because some people would just see it from their perspective of, imagine you was from the outside and you're thinking, why does Mark do that? Or why does Falcon even do this? If that was me, I would just be on the beach somewhere just making money. Why would I need to answer emails and have this extra stress or pressure?
But you have a purpose.
There you go. Service to others. Yeah. There's part of life in which, why do you think these people that have, let's say, they've built these companies, right? And they've sold them for 20 million, 30 million, and you find a lot of them, what do? They give their money away.
Yeah.
They spend their whole life chasing money and building up millions by not having money. Yeah. But then they so casually donate 20 million away. Doesn't that show you that's a trend? That's not a one-off. This is common, billions, millions. Yeah. It's because there's part of you that realizes, I'm so glad I realized this at an earlier stage, which is being proud of something is also understanding, I want to be able to look back and go, I'm proud of what we've built. Yeah. That we're doing good service to others. This is ongoing to me. I could never get bored of someone jumping on a podcast with someone, even when I'm 50, 60 years old, and saying, you've quit your job. Like, I can never get bored of that feeling, to see someone be brave enough to not accept just a mediocre life and pursue their passions and pursue what is important to them. Yeah. So I'm so pleased that
it's your legacy.
Yeah,
it's your legacy that you're building now. So
and we're growing the team. We're
part of that, which very grateful. So yeah, thanks to you. For existing pretty much, because without you, we wouldn't be here.
No, I appreciate that, but it takes committed people like yourself to just keep on going, and I really appreciate the faith and trust that you put in me and the coaches and the team to actually deliver what we need to deliver, because it's hard to change people's lives. It's not easy. Yeah. But as you can see, everything's very well thought out. If we produce something, we come from a position of care. It's like I'm thinking individually from a perspective of, if Francisco was to take this, Rewired 2.0, how's it going to help him? How's it going to help John? How's it going to help Harry? Like, I'm thinking in my head from a person by person, not every single person in the community. Yeah. I'm not sure if I would be able to list everyone's name in one go, but I'm very hands-on, and I like to create that connection with people. It's a community, right? It's a family. Sure. That's literally how we see it. But that's the kind of decisions that we take into consideration when we're going to create something. And I genuinely feel we're at such early stages for what we'll create. I've got this vision in my head, end of the year, in Dubai, just having a small little espresso. I don't know why, it's just one of the parts of the vision. Of course, the Aurora Sky Pool is like the main thing. Yeah. But I just had this kind of vision in my head of like, I just order a coffee, a little espresso, and I kind of look over to the right, and I can see a big group of students that they're there because they've scaled up. They've either quit their job or on their way to quitting their job. They've just hit like a good milestone in their trading to warrant them being there. And then I look over and think, wow, like this happened. These were the people that, you know, they just came as a student, didn't know anything about trading, and now they're on their way to build their empire. It's just little moments like that, I think, push me and the team so much more.
Yeah.
Because you hold on to a tiny little vision, you make it reality, and then we've already done that for 6.5 years. So I can only imagine what we'll do in the next 6.5 years. It's going to be crazy.
Absolutely. And just the fact that 7 years might not seem long time, but in the industry that we're in, you don't see a lot of communities that have survived for 7 years. Not only survive, which is not the right word to use for Falcon, but have grown, have exceeded expectations, you know, the industry standards, have achieved so many things, so many goals. It's very hard for us to fail now. We have access to everything.
We become more robust. We become stronger.
Yeah.
As you said, I completely agree. It's hard it's why communities and things fizzle out. It's because they're built on quicksand. And when I talk about foundations, like foundation series, like everything within our content is within the framework of what Falcon is. Like every step, we will never, ever, ever make a decision for the short term, no matter what. It doesn't matter what money offers us. We'll never make a decision on anything short term. And that's something, as a student, you can have the peace of mind that, because you have to think about it from that perspective. Can I thrive here? Can I trade 7 figures here? Will I have the support? Will I have the know-how?
Yeah.
When I'm making money, will there be help for me to know what to do with that money so I don't mess it all up? And the answer is yes to every single one, and more. And things we've not even thought about that we'll create. I mean, in 2 years from now, I can't tell you what idea I'm going to have, but you know there's going to be one.
But you're going to have some. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely have something.
And again, this goes back to the point of peace of mind. You know, you start making 5, 10, 15, 20K a month profit. A lot of people are not financially educated to know or to have the know-how what to do with this money. Instead of spending in materialistic things that you don't need or don't serve you a purpose, you can reinvest now, you know, into the property fund, which you have talked about, which is amazing. Have that money working for you, create passive income. Where do you see that? You don't have a lot of places where you can go and say, you know what, I have everything in my reach. I can, if I have a problem, I can call Mark. If I'm making too much money, I know where I can invest that money.
To have.
Exactly. So, yeah, for those who are early in the journey, I mean, I just been with Falcon 1 year and 7 months, so I would say that I'm still a newbie. But we have to think long term. We are here to support each other. We're here to make you proud. We're here to accompany you into this vision. And yeah, looking forward to being in Dubai, having that espresso.
Yeah, you know
daytime. Nighttime is a different story.
Yeah.
So yeah, grateful.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. Well, Francesco, thank you for taking the time to jump onto the podcast, sharing your story. It's been a pleasure to be able to celebrate this moment with you as well, because it is a key milestone. You know, 5 years from now, you look back, you'll remember.
Yeah.
Remember the suit. You know, you remember these moments of, I failed 5 times, but I still got here. Yeah. And when you're trading 7 figures and you've got passive income coming in, you're using that money to make money, you've got under negotiations with private investment, you just think back.
Would I be upset that I failed 5 times? Of course
not. You wouldn't even care.
Exactly.
Just because you trust in the process that you're learning in the right way.
Exactly.
You know, you can fail. Look, there's people out there that are failing left, right, and center. But if you're failing the wrong way and you don't learn, then it's going to be hopeless.
Exactly.
So I'm very, very proud that you've got to this level, and I'm confident that you're going to get to the next stages as well. So just stay grounded. No need to rush anything, but still go again with the same level of intensity that is needed, because you can't forget what got you there in the first place. But you know, part of just even living in the next stage is like, right, I'm a portfolio asset manager now. I don't need to just get to my next double instantly. I can just weather the storm a little bit, you know, embrace that I've done this now, and then you'll find that it comes to you to the next stage quicker than you think.
Yeah.
But any kind of final words to the community that you would say, any words of advice that you think has given you a bit of an edge in just carry on persisting without it like getting you down?
Sure. So for those of you who are not, who don't have Rewired, there's a camera, right?
Yes.
There's one. Okay. For those of you who don't have Rewired, please do us a favor and subscribe to it. It's a game changer. I think it's a must if you really want to succeed and keep growing as an individual and trader. For those of you who have failed, you're looking at someone that has failed 5 times, but I'm here. I persisted long enough to succeed. And that's one of my mottos and affirmations every morning. I write down. And delay gratification is something that we have to take into account. I don't do this now to get the results tomorrow. There's a process to follow. We all have to go through that. And for those of you who are not in Falcon, but you are watching the podcasts and following some of the social media posts and lives, do yourself a favor and subscribe to the community and to the training course. Best decision ever. I'm very proud of being here. And yeah, let's keep growing.
Just smash it. Thank you so much.
Thank
An
you.
incredible podcast. And I'm looking forward to celebrating some more wins, especially the espresso. I'm keen to see what level you'll be trading at that point. So let's make it happen.
Absolutely.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, brother.